And the Ravens, 36. Chiefs, 35. For the first time ever, Pat Mahomes throws an interception in the month of September. For the first time ever, Pat Mahomes loses in the month of September and does so in a wild game despite the fact that he threw 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, looked like he had his team ready to win, but the fumble with a minute and a half to go when they were in field goal range, and then the 4th down call in his own territory, John Harbaugh trusts his quarterback who gets the first down, and Baltimore gets a win. All right, everybody in the pool, Jonathan Jones, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Brian McFadden. I'm Eric Casillas. JJ, I'll start with you. Translate this win for me for Baltimore.
This is huge for Baltimore, and it's huge for them because they're coming off so many injuries that we all know about. They're coming off all those injuries at the running back position. The fact is that Tyson Williams had never had an NFL snap before 7-8 days ago. Latavius Murray was at training camp with a completely different team. Devontae Freeman wasn't there until just a week ago. But they got more than 100 rushing yards from those guys. And then you add in the 100 rushing yards that you got from Lamar Jackson. And then you add in the 239 passing yards you got from Lamar. Yes, he had one bad interception. Then the other one, the wide receiver fell down on that pick 6. But when you look at what Lamar did and how he put the team on his back and all the injuries and not having Ronnie Stanley up front and having Alejandro Villanueva protecting his blind side after we saw how poorly Alejandro Villanueva was playing at the right tackle position. This is a huge win for Lamar Jackson personally and professionally because this is his 4th try against Kansas City, which also means this was his 4th try against Patrick Mahomes. And all these quarterbacks, B-Mac, can tell you till they're blue in the face, it's not me going up against the other quarterback. It's me going up against the other team's defense. You don't think that it plays in these quarterbacks' minds? You don't think that Lamar Jackson hadn't been reminded that he was 0-3 against the young GOAT and that he was about to be 0-4? But what he did, putting this team on his back with all of the issues around this team, legitimate on-the-field issues, I thought this was a hell of a game by Lamar.
And yet, and I don't disagree with anything you said, it was a play where Lamar Jackson's on the sideline that basically gave him the win. The fumble by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If Edwards-Helaire doesn't fumble, we think Harrison Butker's going to knock that through, and Lamar Jackson's going to lose again.
No question.
He needed somebody to do something for him late, and then he did it. Now, Lamar Jackson clearly put his offense on his back. He found Hollywood Brown in spots. He ran for over 100 yards. He threw for over 100 yards. But the Ravens, they ran for 251 yards as a team tonight, right at Kansas City. If you look at Lamar Jackson tonight, give me a grade for how he played. I mean, his team put up 36 points. I'm not sure how. I don't know what grade I'd give him.
I got to give him an A. I won't give him an A+, but I got to give him an A, and here's why.
Pick 6, turnovers.
The interceptions. One was a costly mistake on his wide receiver slipping, coming out his break, and the other one was just a bad misread by Lamar Jackson. But one thing I can say about Lamar Jackson and why I'm giving him an A, he never was battle-tested. He never tucked his tail and just sat down. He kept coming. He kept coming. He kept coming. And when things looked like they were clearly out of reach for the Baltimore Ravens, he showed up with energy, and he played outstanding, relentless football, and that led to a huge victory for his ball club. They were 0-1. This was a huge, huge game for them, not just to mention the team they were going against, a team they couldn't beat over the last few years, but you don't want to go down 0-2 in that division, especially in the AFC. So me personally, I got to give Lamar Jackson an A. He outplayed Pat Mahomes, especially in the second half.
He did miss some throws. He had some turnovers. He did have a pick 6. Another, Tyrann Mathieu almost had 3 picks on him tonight, had 2. But his best was incredibly good. Like,
no
I thought his best 5 plays were shockingly impressive, and his worst 5 throws were dreadful. Most of the middle was very, very good. What grade are you going to give him for that?
I'm going to give him an A-. And he did have the pick 6, but the pick 6 was on when the receiver slipped. And, you know, he made an effort to try to tackle him. It just didn't work out. The fact is that when it was crunch time, when the Baltimore Ravens really needed Lamar Jackson, he came through. Unfortunately for Lamar and the Ravens, when they really needed him against the Raiders last week, he did not come through. And Tyson Williams missed that pass protection, and in came the defensive end for the Raiders, and he fumbled the football. He didn't do it tonight. When they came out, B-Mac, we were watching on 4th and 1. What did I say? I said, he's going to try to draw him offside.
What I said?
You said, no, they're going for it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a draw him offside, too.
And you know, you said it was out of respect for Patrick Mahomes.
That's what I thought.
EK said it was out of respect for Patrick Mahomes, but it was also with immense respect to Lamar Jackson.
And believing that he can get the job done. If you follow the Baltimore Ravens, you know in those situations, Harbaugh trusts his quarterback more than the defense he's going against. And he felt like my guy is a better guy.
That's why you have him.
Well, let me
as
ask
far
you
as
this
the defenders.
Okay, Kansas City, he goes for it. If they're playing the Bears, I think punt the ball.
I think that's who he is as a coach and believing in his quarterback.
I think he punts the ball there.
I don't think so. I think they ice it.
It's very easy to answer the question at 4th and 1. Now, this guy doesn't have to answer many questions. Been there a decade and a half. Won a Super Bowl. Has been great. But if you don't get it there, everybody understands why you went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a team like if you're playing the Bears, you're playing the Lions, you're playing one of those teams, and you don't get it there, people are saying, "Why didn't you punt the football? You got too cute." What you think you would have? You think you punt? You think you go for it no matter who the opponent is?
Yes, I think so.
I think so too, just because you believe in Lamar. You believe if I need 1 yard and the football is in his hands and the way that we've been running, because at that point they had nearly 250 rushing yards, right? That eclipsed 250 with that run. You believe that you're going to get the job done with Lamar Jackson there. You say, this one run with Lamar, I will take it against any other team. I'll take it against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their rush defense, whether or not Tom Brady's on the field, whether he's the quarterback. You give me the best rush defense, you give me Lamar Jackson one play and I need 1 yard, I will take Lamar Jackson. That's what Harbaugh said.
All right, now to Kansas City. Where are they not good enough, right? And is that answer... I mean, again, is it too easy to say the running back position right when the guy fumbles there? I mean, you know, I hate to. It's too easy to pile on there. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not a big back. He's not a good guy in 1 yard situations. He's not a good guy at the goal line. He did fumble in that spot. Kansas City did give up 251 yards rushing. They did give up 3 rushing touchdowns. Now it is Lamar Jackson. He's a different kind of cat. I agree. There's nobody better or scarier from the quarterback position with the football in his hands. But when you look at Kansas City, I'll start with you, B-Mac. Where do they need to get better if they want to get back to the Super Bowl again?
Defensively, run defense, specifically speaking. They're having issues against the ground and pound attack. Cleveland ripped them apart last week. Yep. I understand you look at Cleveland's running game.
They're great.
Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, offensive line structures in place. But at some point in time, you got to bow your back up. What we saw tonight, Lamar Jackson had success. You talk about some of the other guys. The fill-ins came in and combined for 100 yards. You could accept Lamar Jackson getting 100 yards on your defense. That's who he is as a player.
Yep.
But other guys who they just plucked off the streets, no. You got to find a way to neutralize and slow the opposing team's running game down. And offensively for Kansas City, they can't run the football. And because of that, they were 1 for 6 on third down opportunities. They converted 1 third down in the entire ball game. And because of that, they ran 49 plays offensively compared to 68 by the Baltimore Ravens.
You run for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns, you're going to run for a lot of plays with all those carries. JJ, same question to you. Where's Kansas City need to be better? If you're going to, I mean, I think it's right. Look, they haven't stopped the run, but they have played a great offensive line in Cleveland with Nick Chubb coming downhill at you, and Kareem Hunt is in good change of pace back. And now they get, I mean, Lamar Jackson, you can't simulate it in practice. I mean, not easy. But where are they not good enough?
Lamar Jackson had 27 dropbacks tonight. They blitzed him on almost half of those, and they got 1 sack against Lamar Jackson. I know that he is the toughest dude, along with Kyler Murray, to sack in the NFL. But we just saw the Raiders, and nobody's talking about their defensive linemen ever, right? But they got after Lamar Jackson. The Kansas City Chiefs did not, and they are a very talented group up front. You have to be able to get Lamar Jackson down more than that. And then you mention it, B-Mac, it's the run game. And last week against the Cleveland Browns, Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushed for something like 43, 46 yards against the Cleveland Browns. And then again, you're doing that yet again. You got to eclipse 50. You got to get over 60. If you're going to, and this is just true, this is just football, where if you're going to have a play-action pass game, it's more effective if you have a solid run game, if they're going to fear you on the ground.
And one thing about Kansas City, the luxury they have because they have so many elite pass catchers, most defenses play the pass. So you have favorable matchups in the box that should work in your favor running the football. So it's either two things. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not the guy that they thought he could be, or the offensive line, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because you're seeing so many favorable matchups in the box, maybe a 5-man box. That should be a running opportunity for you to be able to get 5-6 yards of pop. But they're having issues. They need to find a way to correct that because in their division, the Raiders' defense has improved.
Yep.
The Denver Broncos' defense has improved. The Chargers, we know they can play defense as well. So if that's the book on the Kansas City Chiefs, they can't run the football and just play the pass. A lot of people will take the same formula that Baltimore Ravens use and utilize it on the Chiefs going forward.
They did score 35.
They did.
Pat Mahomes had 343 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns. And by the way, only 14 receiving yards from Tyreek Hill. So is everybody else but Tyreek Hill tonight. Ravens did a very good job on Cheetah, kept him at bay. Less than 15 yards on Tyreek Hill is quite an accomplishment for that defense. Well done. All right, so here you go. Head-to-head. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You know, we don't love the head-to-head because they don't play each other. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled when it looked like Kansas City was going to win, and so Baltimore got a win. And I'm sure other times Lamar Jackson has been saddled with a loss, and it wasn't his fault. I mean, it's not really, it's when they've each been on their respective offenses in games against each other. But I get why we're doing it. You see Lamar Jackson now gets on the board. Huge win. Well done. And I think, B-Mac, you said it perfectly, that this was a guy that even when he didn't play great in certain plays, had so many effective plays and just kept coming after Kansas City. Heart of a lion tonight by 8 in a big, big, big win.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.